Hello, everyone. Hold on, sorry. Wasn't ready.
We're not ready for this one. I'm not. You're not.
Dude, I just saw UFO. I'm not ready for shit. This is a pilot episode, so we can do this all day. Hello, everyone. My name is Louise. This is Katie.
Hey, y'all.
And you're listening to Files from the Other Side. This week, we're opening up the files on monsters.
Monsters.
What's a monster?
Oh, fuck.
No, we're gonna talk about that later. Don't worry about it. Don't contemplate too hard. Actually, what we're gonna get into is the monsters, favorite monsters, monster picks, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like
top
it's a
monster
Pokemon
picks.
battle.
We're going head to
Who
head.
brought the lineup?
First round pick, Mothman.
All right, Mitch.
Mine.
If he's your first guy, you better power him up.
Oh man, he's the best. Wait, I'm too stoned for this shit. Oh my god. Does that mean you want me to talk about him now, or are we going through all what? What did you say?
I said, have you ever played Pokemon?
Not in like a solid 15 to 20 years.
But you played the card game before, right?
Never the card game.
Oh, okay, because I'm talking card game. Because I have to admit I don't follow Pokemon rules, but I fucking love it. And I also, speaking of Pokemon could be considered monsters.
They are little monsters.
They're little,
but they're like cartoons. Like
they're paranormal. I'm sure. I think.
Yeah. Because they come out of the little balls, like they disappear into the little balls, and like you summon them from like little balls, like a genie. Like, are they just Jinn? Are they like really monstery?
I think because it's like an Eastern origination Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like, I think we'd have to know more about what goes on in like Japan. You know? I digress.
I was gonna be like, well, I have actually attempted to read some classical Chinese literature. It's awesome. I tried to read The Outlaws of the Marsh. But there's like conservatively 100 main characters. It is a lot. Very funny. But like people can be superheroes. Like in Outlaws of the Marsh, there was this one guy who was like, I can swim for 7 days and 7 nights straight without coming up for air. And I was like, oh, okay. Sagacious Blue, one of my favorite characters, fucking rips a tree out. Just uproots a tree because he was defending the garden.
I have so many books that I like are on queue that I'm like, I don't even know when I'm gonna get to Eastern philosophy, but we'll get there.
I can put you in some directions. I love some Eastern spirituality and some Eastern philosophy, man. I fuck hard with Hinduism and Buddhism.
Yeah.
My first recommendation is probably gonna be the Bhagavad Gita. It's awesome. But yeah, they have a lot of fun stuff going. A lot of monsters in Hinduism. I mean, monstery gods at least.
Yeah. Well, you picked Mothman as your front, so.
Mothman! I love Mothman. Okay, he was first seen in 1966 in November in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Good God Almighty!
It's Mothman.
He is the harbinger of disaster. So you know, my shit falling all over the place.
If you've seen Hellier, also shout out to Hellier. If you've seen Hellier, Mothman is a huge part of Hellier, and so is Trickster spirit energy. So just so
I love me some Trickster gods. Big fan of those. So you keep recommending Hellier to me, and I keep not doing it. Mothman. Okay, so I thought that he was like really immediately seen before the fucking Silver Bridge collapsed in Point Pleasant in 67, right? But he was actually like seen before like 1966, and like a year 13 months almost to the day. So when I was doing my research on a fucking Mothman, he's like the big fucking moth creature. He's got white wings, he's got glowing eyes, he's like 7 feet fucking tall, And like I know some birds can be that tall, but like he has glowing red eyes. Like they were like I was reading that some people were like they're confusing like sandhill cranes or like great blue herons like with a fucking like thing, and I was like, not if his eyes are glowing red. Like a reddish flesh around a bird's eye is not gonna make it glow fucking red. Like maybe in the cases where they don't fucking have the glowing part, like maybe it is because some of those birds have like really crazy wingspans and stuff like that. Okay, fine, whatever. But no, I just like he's glowing red eyes. He's gotta be real. He's gotta be real. Some people say they saw him on fucking right around the World Trade Center on 9/11. Some people like apparently there was like 55 Mothman sightings in Chicago in 2017 or something crazy like that.
Weird.
Yeah, dude. I don't know.
2017 is around the time they filmed and put out Hellier. Yeah.
Synchronicity.
And it blew up. Like it was viral around that time.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, my front runner though, for you, if you're going with Mothman, I guess I gotta go with a big guy. I'm gonna go with Godzilla. Monster.
Godzilla's gonna fuck Mothman up.
Dude, Godzilla is a primordial, not primordial. What do they call it? I don't know. He was in the original Godzilla movie in 1954. It was largely a story that reflected political and social climates of Japan, which in 1954 the social climate would have been around nuclear weapons in World War II.
Yeah.
The newest American film actually on Godzilla has come out this year in 2024 called Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire, which actually deals with the destruction of humanity. It destroys cultural landmarks, obliterates human life without acknowledging it at all. It's interesting though, it's interesting, but there's also, okay, so they also explore this like weird this is all the new lore, okay? And they explore in this new movie this hollow Earth, which is a setting where the original monsters of Earth, like there's a sentient population living among humans. They kind of use it as like a metaphor for indigeneity, making monsters indigenous, if that makes sense. We're gonna make you primitive, but you're indigenous, you're ancient, you're gonna help us save the earth, right?
That's the exact opposite of the message of Godzilla in its original form in the Japanese horror film. Godzilla becoming like a protector of the earth when he was a byproduct of humans fucking it up and like needing to like do better.
Yeah,
you know, like
what's fucked up to me about the metaphor for indigeneity is that like there's always this comparison drawn between communities of color, that they're less civilized. It's like transcends time, and I think what's really, and I think we have to also take into consideration the time that the 1954 classic was made and what the time we're living in now, where Hollywood can scoop up anything and make and regurgitate it and be like, see, we did it right, you guys, we kind of did it, like, isn't it helping a little? And it's like, but you are just following the same dead tropes that every Hollywood movie is doing right now, and killing the industry. And
also great, fucking turning like you're fucking up the message of the original movie, and like you're actively sending that message. It is propaganda, and it
reflects life. Like art reflects life, so therefore, and like Hollywood is one of the biggest perpetuators besides traditional media of propaganda, because Hollywood can be paid off to do so.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for smoking.
And they don't care.
Talks about that.
Yeah, they don't care. They're in it for the money. They're in it for the glory, the money, or the comfort of living a comfortable ass rich life. And when you don't have anything to survive for anymore, you lose sight of actual real life that common people experience. So it seems detached. It seems so detached. But that is our evolution of Godzilla.
What an evolution he's gone through.
I know. I'm critiquing it very heavily, but I'm sure there are a ton of people who could be like smarter about it. I cannot fathom the scope at which Godzilla has lore. But is he real? Yes. I just don't know anything about Hollow Earth theory versus like the Hollow Earth that they propose. Like I don't know if it's related.
Yeah. It's also like not Godzilla's origin. Like he is a monster that was created from the nuclear destruction of Japan during war.
I think like Hollywood is really stepping away from nuclear or anything because of the amount of panic that we're all kind of like feeling around this wartime that we've started. It's I don't know why I wanted to bring it up like this, but like I was like, Godzilla's a monster.
No, I mean he is. And like it's supposed to serve as a warning, and there's like a lot of panic around like just the destruction of the country and all of the fucking nuclear fallout. And like pick a different story to tell. Like if you don't want to stay away from nuclear shit, don't fucking bring Godzilla into it. Like that's his
or
whole
tell
deal.
it in a way that's gonna heal people. Tell it in an authentic way. Use original Japanese lore. Do it right. And that's where I think Hollywood has just gone so wrong.
Yeah.
Like personal opinions, but do you have another monster?
Oh man.
What's your second? If I knock you out, what's your second Pokemon?
What's my second Pokemon? I mean, like now I feel like I have to play my trump card of Nessie. Like,
all right, you might win Nessie. This battle, but I play hard.
You're gonna put the Chimera up against Nessie. Fuck. Nessie,
oh my god, you're the only person who's ever played poker with me, so you're the only person who probably could guess a poker match like that. A poker slide. What the fuck? Our audience doesn't even know how good that was.
They don't know they don't have the 12 years of fucking experience. Like,
damn, like, I didn't even think about it, but I was like, she's right. Oh my god.
Yo. Oh my god. I'd listen to this. I love it when people are actually friends.
It's so funny.
Nessie. Okay, my trump card. She's got that name brand recognition. She is also, okay, like quite probably a real dinosaur. Like an actual like species of dinosaur, which means she's probably real, which is dope as hell. Yeah, fucking come at me, Chimera. Fucking, she's a goddamn dinosaur. I wouldn't come at you.
I'm gonna add a supporting factor. I literally think that the sightings could be like the ghost of a dinosaur.
Ooh, I love that. That.
Like, that's a really good one. I think what's particular about this dinosaur, if we're talking about it, like, I've gone to the Natural History Museum in LA, the LA one, and I seen a Basilosaurus, and that's what they say is the most congruent looking like animal in prehistoric history that could look like what we describe Nessie as.
Yeah.
As a Basilosaurus. Anyways, so I seen this thing, and I was like, yeah, for sure that's what Nessie is. Like,
yeah.
And, or at least the bone structure. And,
or like a smaller, like a freshwater version. You know what I mean? Like how there's like this ocean fish are bigger. Like, cause like there's something about like there's channels that she can go in and out of locks like around the area and stuff. And that's how like Ogopogo travels, right? Like.
Yeah. And the one thing is about water is that it's highly spiritual. These beings could have been highly spiritual. They could have been like highly intelligent. Highly spiritual, highly intelligent, like elephants or whales, like very highly emotionally intelligent animals. Could have left a trace through history. So I'm not gonna defeat you on your Nessie. I think she would win the game out and through if I didn't have a lot more energy to do this. So so I'm gonna lead with the Chimera.
I was right. I called that.
Greek mythological feature, a bizarre fire-breathing creature with a body and head of a lion, a goat's head rising from its back, udders of a goat, serpent for a tail. The story is that the Chimera ravaged the countryside of Lycia in Anatolia, Greece.
Yeah.
It's the story is largely seen as a metaphor for the Lycian volcano gas vents near southwest Turkey, and it's slain by a hero named Bellerophon.
Bellerophon.
So that's the story of the Chimera. The interesting thing about the paranormal chimeras, like the Chimera as like a paranormal creature, is we also have this like other sort of framework for it, and it's genetic chimerism, which is when an organism is composed of cells which are of more than one genotype.
Yeah.
The way I see this play out in like stories is that it's basically like you just combine creatures, right? You just combine it's like a werewolf kind of, but you're combining creatures more biologically than you are magically. I think werewolves are kind of more magical, more mystical.
Because there's a truth. They're kind of shaped
sci-fi.
This is like fucking like werewolves are kind of like a brand of shapeshifter essentially, because they go in and out of two forms, versus like Chimera is like multiple kinds of disparate parts of various animals in one body all the time.
My favorite like current Chimera story is from Teen Wolf season 5 particularly.
I mean,
if Teen Wolf fans will be like, hell yeah, Chimera, that it was a cool storyline. It was, I think it was like near the end of the series, so it was it's for Teen Wolf fans who really got into it. To remember that Chimera, it was a sick ass storyline. It was so cool, and it was very sci-fi because Teen Wolf is about werewolves, and so it combines this incredible, like, there are a lot of villains in Teen Wolf that are like after the Teen Wolves, like, because the Teen Wolves are kind of like Scooby-Doo gang, and they want to have their friendships, they want to just live out high school, and so the Chimera is a season 5 just like extremely convoluted story because it's in season 5 versus like there's a lot more characters, and one of the things in the show is that the Chimera are never successful. They die because the science experiment isn't successful, and it uses magic, it uses like werewolf blood, it uses shit, like that, like it just is, it's like a mad scientist figure tries to gain power, and he starts creating
playing God, and
playing God type situation.
Chills.
Which is why I like the Chimera as a monster. I think it lends itself well to the monster conversation.
It does. Oh, it certainly does. It's a hell of a monster. You said that, and I was like, fuck. I went fully cryptid. Like, I fully went like, ooh, fucking fun, like, cryptids. Like, I think my last cryptid's the Chupacabra, but like, I did some research on the Jersey Devil too, because I love the Jersey Devil. Weird, man. Also fascinating about the Jersey Devil, the origins are actually, there's like 2 origin stories, and one of them is just like, oh, Ben Franklin was shit talking this family, just like the Leeds and Ben Franklin had competing almanacs and didn't like each other, and like that's one of the origin stories. Crazy.
That's so
the other
weird.
one's your standard like woman curses her child and it's the devil.
I honestly have never heard of the Jersey Devil, so all this is new information to me.
This was originally called the Leeds Devil. And it was like, there's this family called the Leeds family, which was the name of the woman who, so there's like I think it was Mary Leeds, and she had like, they had 12 kids, and she got pregnant again on their 13th child, and she cursed. She's like, this is going to be the child, this is going to be the devil. And then it was, and it became the Leeds Devil, and then subsequently the Jersey Devil. And then there's another origin story where the Jersey Devil is actually like this family that like had a competing almanac with fucking Ben Franklin, and they just like, they were just, also there was some drama with the Leeds family about like them, it was like a Quaker heavy like community, and they were already like doing other like bullshit that they didn't like, so it was just like general like shit talking about this family, calling them the devil, and then it like became like part of Jersey folklore.
Weird. So what is it supposed to look like?
They're like, it's fucking creepy as fuck, honestly. Like, he's bipedal. Supposedly he's this crazy bipedal. Fucking, he's got horns and like goat face, but wings, and
Yes,
like
I
little
do.
like
He
T-Rexy
looks like the
arms.
devil tarot card, right?
Honestly, yeah, he
Which
does.
people have been pulling collectively a lot lately. Devil card is everywhere right now.
That's really interesting. I've been pulling I pulled the Fool today and you were talking about that. I've been pulling the Wheel of Fortune.
For 2 months, I've been pulling the devil, and we pulled it in the investigation we did, or well, Para Northwest did pulled it about their investigation, and thinking about it in terms of the investigation has been really hard because it's barely been 2 days since it's played out, but a little spooky because the devil is about capitalism. The devil is about material gains. The devil is about being chained to materialism, sexual bondage. It's expansionist in a way that it never stops perpetuating abuse and harm, but it asks the question about who's in power and how you could effectively empower yourself to become free from harm.
No. So. I don't think of it as I think of it as addiction.
I just like have political takes. I've been studying political tarot. So I have political tarot as well as the spiritual, metaphysical, like all that stuff. I just been adding political to it. So
I love that.
So to me, it's always capitalism is the first thing, but you're definitely right. If we're talking about like a personal reading, it's about addiction, like personal temptations, vices.
Yeah. And I remember because I did like a more generalized, like it was on Biddy Tarot when I first quit drinking. I like started pulling. It was during quarantine. It was also during quarantine. It was my first week. I spent a week in quarantine. I was like 20 days sober or something like that, and I was like staring at my bedroom fucking ceiling. I was like, oh my god, I'm so bored. I'm so bored. And I was like, didn't your mother get you a tarot deck for your birthday a few weeks ago? Why don't you learn how to read some fucking tarot? And that was like the general thing was like, they're like, this is about addiction. And I was, because I pulled that a lot in my first 6 months.
Yeah. What's a card that helps with the devil for you, if you could pick one of the majors or minors?
What do you mean helps with the devil?
Like what card would give you a relief from the devil if you were to pick a card?
The Star, but
yes.
Or the Star, the Hierophant, the High Priestess. I actually love pulling the Devil card, especially in reverse. But like it's even with it without like it's because it's reminding you who's in power. Like how do you empower yourself? Like it's kind of just serves. If it's not with anything that's like hopeful, it's like drawing my attention to something that I'm neglecting. You know what I mean? So I don't think I never, because I discovered it so early on in my fucking addiction, and like just I had to face the addiction like while it was happening. I was like, well, okay, yeah, the addiction card is my favorite card in the deck then. Like the devil's like top 5 cards for me, especially if it's in reverse, because that means that you're like, that means you're on the up. Like it means you're leveling up.
For me, the devil comes up when I'm dealing with like a mental battle, but that I can't free myself from, like, you know, it's like a circular type thing. I feel chained to the ideas, but also the card that helps me in my, and this is not, it's my mental health, is Temperance. Temperance is a really good card to think about with bipolar disorder specifically.
Yeah.
But you are right when you name the Star. The Star is such a healing card.
Yeah.
And the wisdom of the High Priestess and the tradition of the Hierophant are really good. Yeah, that was awesome. That was cool.
I tried.
Well, okay, so my last monster, getting back into it, is the Mongolian death worm, or it's called the Olgoi Korkoi. Anyways, it's this all I have on it. Olgoi Korkoi?
Olgoi Korkoi?
Yeah, something like that. It's described by many to be from 2 to 7 feet long, have the ability to spit out a corrosive yellow saliva and to generate blasts of electricity, allegedly found in the Gobi Desert.
I've heard. I feel like I've heard of this before. Like in the.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's classified as a cryptid. This is a cryptid.
Okay.
Yeah, it was popularized in the West by Roy Chapman Andrews in a book called On the Trail of Ancient Man in 1926. He was a paleontologist, and the Mongolian deathworm is mentioned as a second-hand account, but the story of it may have inspired the creature in the Dune novels, later Dune movies. Although it has never actually been discovered, so it's classified as cryptid. And I just really fucking like the death worm. I think that's sick as hell.
It's just a giant fucking worm that spits venom. I love it.
Really is just out to really fucking kill. Out to maim.
Out to fuck you up.
Yeah. Well, so this has been an insane monster mash. I swear to God. Actually, this was pretty cool. So
this was awesome.
I want to get into, though, because this episode might be longer, but I want to get into philosophy of like monster. Okay, so how I did this in my head was like the first thing that comes to mind is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. When we are talking about monster, that's the first thing I associate. How much do we want to talk about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein? Do you want me to go into
I'll get the fuck into Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, don't you worry.
The Mary Shelley's Frankenstein narration is confusing because it starts out he's on the Arctic journey, but he's telling the story to another guy who is actually writing a letter to his sister. So it's a story within a story. It's a secondhand account, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's a Gothic classic. Mary Shelley wrote it in 1818. Well, anyways, so he gets angry at the monster, but angry at himself. He goes back and forth. And then you also get this portion of the novel where you see into the monster's psyche. Like, the monster himself, you're seeing how he empathizes with other humans, but knowing he's a murderer. And so the monster comes back to Victor at some point, and he's like, "Make me a companion. I'm so lonely. You've cast me away." And he creates another monster, but he destroys the second monster because he was so terrified by Frankenstein's monster, the first one. So he created the Frankenstein's monster is created first, and then he creates a second one, but it destroys the second one because he's already angry at the first one. And he's like, I don't want this monster to be like able to do what humans can do.
Literally, he's angry at the first one because he's not pretty.
Yeah,
because the fucking monster's not pretty. Yeah, that's why he's mad.
And I mean, so when I looked into like the literary themes of this novel, because I think this is where you can sort of pull out the monstrosity of it, is it's all about scientific pursuits. And it was a very serious question in 1818 with scientific discovery and ethical understandings of scientific, ethical understandings of scientific discovery. So Shelley's novel reinforces the idea that knowledge can be dangerous and that ambition can lead to corrupt outcomes. The knowledge that Victor sought in the ambition led him to create the monster, who ultimately led to his own suffering and the monster suffering. And it's a sad ending. It's a sad fucking story. Victor places his ambitions above his responsibilities, especially other people's lives, and the consequences are disastrously
he kills his best friend. He gets his best friend killed. He fucking like because he can't. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I couldn't remember if that was legit true, but I know he kills fucking Claire Bowl.
He kills a lot of people.
There's a lot. The book is a high death toll because you couldn't be fucking bothered to take responsibility for the creature that you want to play God. You gotta fucking step up and show a motherfucker how to be a monster out here in the world without killing people. Because the monster itself is like a sweetheart, instinctually, but he was never taught how to interact.
It's a romantic story too, right? It's like a traditionally romantic story. And so the sublime is a very huge characteristic of the novel. It fits in because it has this vast backdrop of Europe, the Arctic desert, And what you're supposed to see is the beauty of those places in comparison to how Victor feels about the monster.
Mm-hmm.
But the symbology of like how nature can create a spiritual experience is really emphasized, whereas the scientific discovery is not emphasized as a good thing at all. But feeling subliminality in nature, feeling the same oneness with nature at the same time you realize how tiny and small an individual you are, that two things can be true at one time, and that creates like a spiritual understanding of like how we look at the world.
I'm like, literally, like, was Mary Shelley our OG? Like, you know, like the OG person was like, I mean, we can do this, but should we?
It's Mary Shelley's writing. It's beautiful, so I'm gonna read it. I remembered the effect that the view of the tremendous and ever-moving glacier had produced upon my mind when I first saw it. It had then filled me with a sublime ecstasy that gave wings to the soul and allowed it to soar from the obscure world to light and joy. The sight of the awful and majestic in nature had indeed always the effect of solemnizing my mind and causing me to forget the passing cares of life. I determined to go without a guide, for I was well acquainted with the path, and the presence of another would destroy the solitary grandeur of the scene. That was in the book. So this gives you an idea of like the different kind of enlightenment that can be had. Something that scientific discovery cannot give, but the magnificence of nature and the influence of that sort of religious or spiritual experience can give you. Fascinating. And where do monsters fit into all this? I think that what you just said was like, okay, should we be doing this? I think the spiritual consideration of that question, playing God with a monster, has already played out. Like, I think paranormally it's already played out. We know that good and bad monsters exist. I mean, we just talked about so many monsters before this. Sure, they have horrible features, but they're beautiful in the ways that we talk about them because we know about them, we like them. Like I said, I like the Mongolian death worm. Would I like it if it showed up and killed me? No, but do I appreciate that it could exist? That anything that could kill, like a fucking tiger or a bear, yeah. I can coexist on a planet with those beings. And I don't actually think that they're inferior to humans. I just think that humans are an apex predator.
We're an apex prey, too.
How to keep monsters at bay. Do you have a prescription for this?
And
what would you say about it now after the episode has gone swimmingly?
How to keep monsters... I mean, it's going to be... Okay, again, it's just going to be more like self-care shit. Like the things that I've been saying, meditation, journaling, and therapy are universal. I'd actually like to say affirmations, and I think affirmations are a particularly good one for this episode because, like, you're scared of monsters. I'm scared of monsters. That was what I was thinking of. I was talking about how I love snakes, and this is like, bitch, please. And I was like, oh, don't get it twisted. If a snake was suddenly in the room, I'd scream. Like, I'd freak out. But, like, I think that they're fucking cool as shit. I might calm down. I could be in a room with a snake in a tank and, like, look at it and enjoy it. Just remind yourself that you are, like, worthy and awesome and deserve to fucking kick ass and take names, that you can do that. And you deserve to have the things that you want. And no monster's gonna get in the way of that. Like, you can... there's a Buddhist concept specifically of inviting the demons to tea so that you can hear what they have to say and like they can bring your attention.
Like shadow
work. Yeah, exactly. Like it's like shadow work.
You know what I was gonna say? My prescription is recognize the monster within yourself.
Also that whenever I'm hangry, I say I'm about to go full gremlin.
No, I have this. Oh my god, Kaylani just released a song called Crash. It's her new album is called Crash, and so the feature song on it, the lyrics are, "You kiss me like you want to make love to all my fucking demons." And that's how I think you should see that monster relationship is like we were talking about the bears, the snakes, and the tigers. Yeah. But also consider that the paranormal entity itself, if we're going to so far as to say that these things are real, you have to recognize that the paranormal experience is safe as long as you make it as safe as you can.
Yeah, that's why you close channels after you're done.
And also, like, I think the recognizing the monster within yourself will help you recognize what a true monster is. Once you see that it's not you, and it's not the thing that isn't you, but it is something. It's just not
tangible. It's actually the economic system that we live in.
It's actually capitalism. It's actually the military-industrial complex.
I was wondering how long it was going to be before somebody brought up the military. Thank you so much.
Episode
Thank you so much.
2, baby.
Yeah, because those are what the real monsters are. Mothman, I mean, again, it could be potentially a harbinger of catastrophe, and that sucks, but, like, you'd be stoked.
But wouldn't you want the warning? You'd be stoked, and wouldn't you want the warning?
I want the warning. I want the warning. And let's be real here. You'd be scared at first, but then you get to be like, I fucking saw some crazy ass shit with glowing eyes. It's a great dinner party story. Like, you have the best dinner party story for the rest of your life. And you specifically, I was going to say, well, like, you actually do now. Like, I was like, I might have actually been talking about you, not this theoretical person who saw Mothman. Like,
yeah, no, I just seen a UFO. It's chill.
I'd slit your throat to see a UFO.
Blasphemy, you bitch!
No, actual blasphemy. I would never. I have seen a USO. though.
I'll just recreate the experience with you, dude. Like,
yeah,
this experiment can be replicated. We could just do it.
No, I'm very excited
you don't have
to
to
do
kill
that
me.
with you. I'm not gonna kill you. I was just being a bitch.
A monster.
A monster. I was being a monster. This did go swimmingly.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Files from the Other Side. You can find us on Instagram. Share this podcast if you like it.
We'll see you on the other side.